01. Welcome back to the law offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker on this December 23rd. Happy Festivus, everybody, 2020. This is our holiday show. Trump still has not conceded the election, and we will move on. This our new client, a brand new client, is Happy Chrismakwanzakhaaannn. So we can where we can combine the holidays as a client as well as Star Trek.
Star Trek.
Now, there's not a lot of holiday episodes though on Star Trek, so that'll be an interesting combination. But like I said, I've got the artwork already for this episode. It's going to be Kirk and Spock wearing holiday sweaters, and that's what's going to be.
Though there was a Star Wars holiday episode.
Right, but we talked about that last time.
So I know.
We're moving to the general holidays because Christmas is up in 2 days, and like I said, today is actually the very popular holiday of Festivus, which probably only 3 people actually celebrate it. But for those who don't know, Festivus came from the Seinfeld show. I think it was George's family. It was called Festivus for the rest of us because they didn't celebrate the other holidays, and they had a Festivus pole that they I guess danced around. And then wasn't there this thing about where they had to do insulting different family members or something? Was that part of it? Or
I seem to recall it having something to do with like them telling some sort of like awkward truth about other family members, which would be kind of insulting.
Yeah.
Doesn't that happen during most holiday family gatherings though? I think usually comes out anyway.
I think that was kind of the joke of it, but
okay,
I'm not 100% sure.
So why is it the 23rd though? I'm confused by Festivus being on the 23rd. Is there a reason for that?
It occurs on December 23rd. It includes a Festivus dinner and unadorned aluminum Festivus pole. I forget. It practices the airing of grievances and feats of strength. I forgot about those 2 things.
I forgot how funny that was.
And the labeling of easily explainable events as Festivus miracles. So, and they refer to it as Festivus for the rest of us. It doesn't really state why they do it for December 23rd, but maybe just to make it within that particular week. But it's the alternative to the pressures and commercialism of the Christmas season. So, I was raised Jewish, and so I was raised with Hanukkah, and so I always looked at Christmas as not an affront, but like an intrusion into my life. I'm like, why is this all being forced upon me? Growing up, I got to listen to all of this music that means nothing to me. It's like, why are these people worshiping a baby? I don't know. And as the years went on, my resentment grew and grew and grew. But now I don't really care that much. But
was it resentment or was it jealousy? Because I knew a lot of Jewish kids where I grew up. There's a big Jewish population in upstate New York where I lived, and I never got why they were jealous of Christmas. I love Hanukkah, where you get a different gift every day. It's spread out.
I don't know why. I never had a jealousy.
No, but there were.
All.
I know
I'm
a
sure.
lot of Jewish
Well, there's
kids
a reason
like,
why they came up with the Hanukkah bush. I don't know if you guys know this, not being Jewish, but they're guys who, families that decided to do a bush for Hanukkah that they would decorate. And that's where they would
like a tree.
Right, but not a tree because that would be the Christian thing, right? Is to do that. So they do a Hanukkah bush.
So a shrubbery.
We never did that. maybe they did a shrubbery.
Was it like a George? Was it like a George Bush or a Jeb Bush? Or...
Yes, I think it was more of a Jeb Bush. They decorated.
They put lights on Jeb Bush.
That's right.
Jeb Bush would travel to every Jewish person's home.
Jeb Bush was the Festivus pole.
He was.
They decorated him. They put ornaments on his nose.
Please clap.
The reindeers would pee on him.
But man, I'm just saying
Please
that, like,
clap.
I never understood why so many Jewish.
I thought you wanted that for your joke.
No. I was making a Jeb Bush reference, which I'm glad you got.
I remembered it. It took me a second.
I remember that. That was sad.
Anyway, Greg, what were you saying?
I was saying that, like, a lot of Jewish kids I knew were always like, oh, like, it was almost like, and they sometimes celebrated Christmas. I knew Jewish kids, obviously liberal Jews, who celebrated Christmas because it was like they thought it was like funner or better just because they lived in America and we're a Christian country. But I love the idea of Hanukkah. Like, I love, like, wow, 14 days of getting a great gift, another surprise, because Christmas was almost too much. You got all these gifts and then the next day was over. I thought Hanukkah was a funner idea where oh, 14 days you get another present.
Hanukkah was
spread
not
out.
for 14. Hanukkah was 8 days.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
but
Okay, 8 days.
14
That's what I
days. What
meant.
the hell is that's
That's
because
what
you're
I said.
Catholic and you have like Lent for 300 days.
That's what I said, Matt. I said 8 days.
Yeah,
You weren't listening.
Instead of the 14 days you said accidentally, but didn't
No,
say.
you say no. You heard 14 days. I said 8, but I still like the idea of 8 days.
This
of
is
getting
being recorded,
presents.
Greg. You're going to hear that you said 14 days.
I know I'm lying, but I do love the idea of spreading Christmas out. Like I was the kind of kid on Christmas morning, and I was very fortunate. My parents went to town on Christmas. They probably almost went bankrupt every Christmas, buying us tons of presents, and I would spread it out. I would like open a present very slowly, but it was still one day.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have had like, a present this day, and then the next day I have another present.
Well,
There's great.
currently like almost a new little holiday happening right now as we speak. With the vaccines coming out, some of the vaccines apparently were getting extra doses out of a vial than they were expecting to get. So it's almost like a Hanukkah in a vial because like you're only supposed to get so many doses, but they got extra doses unexpectedly. So
Oh, you're talking about
It's-
the lamp with not enough oil.
right,
It's
that's
a miracle.
that's the miracle of Hanukkah. Hanukkah is the festival of lights, because it had only so much oil to light up for like a day, and it lasted 8 days. So in this case, it's the vaccines. They only have like enough doses for 8, but turns out they had enough for 10. So,
Or it's like the loaves and fishes that Jesus.
Yeah,
loaves and witches.
Fishes.
Oh,
fish, loaves, whatever. Here's the thing for me growing up, like basically in the ghetto and not having any Jewish friends whatsoever. I really don't I'm not a fan of the holiday season.
Was it because there's a lot of just bad memories associated with it?
I don't know that they're bad memories. It's just I don't have good memories. My wife has a lot of very happy memories of Christmas and traveling to grandma's house and visiting her cousins and that all. I mean, I'm not shortchanging any of that. It's all great. I didn't have that. It was just like whatever my mom could scrape together to get me, and then I kind of felt bad about it because I'm like, geez, she really didn't need to buy me this, Star Wars Death Star something or other when I was a kid, because I knew what it meant mentally, and I certainly didn't have any sort of weird, whatever with Jewish holidays. All I know about Hanukkah and because I did as I got older, I celebrated Hanukkah with some Jewish friends. The food is just not that good.
Gefilte fish.
It's just bread. And it's just bland. And I remember she's like, oh, and this is all the traditional, Jewish Hanukkah stuff. And I'm like,
oh. Are you thinking of Passover?
No, he's saying, I think he knows the difference between Hanukkah and Passover.
I know, but Hanukkah, I didn't think, I had Jewish friends growing up, and there wasn't like a traditional meal for Hanukkah. It was Passover.
I think maybe they gave him like traditional Jewish foods.
Yeah, I'm
Hanukkah
sure
doesn't really have foods associated with it except for Hanukkah gelt, which is basically chocolate coins.
I could have done with chocolate coins.
Yeah,
I think you're right, Matt. I think it was just traditional Jewish food, and I just found it to be really not good.
Some of it is an acquired taste, definitely. And some of it is bad, but some stuff you grew up with. Like I grew up with my grandmother used to make chicken liver, which is just kind of nasty, like chopped chicken liver, but it's made with egg and onions, and it's like a little bit of like a pate. And I didn't like it growing up, but then as I got older, I really liked it. It's really good on crackers. And then there's challah, which is a type of bread, which is like braided, with like
I like challah.
Egg wash on it.
Oh, yeah. I think that was one of the things I ate, and I'm like, oh, good, more bread.
Well, that kind of bread's pretty good though. That bread's really good with butter if you make it right.
Really
anyway.
Good bread.
And then there's kugel, which was kind of a treat for us kids, which is like
I love kugel,
a noodle dish with crumbs on it, like a
yep. I had that.
Crumbs.
Yeah, real bland,
made with like cream cheese.
Yeah.
But please mention brisket, Matt. The Jews invented brisket because they couldn't have pork.
Well, they didn't invent brisket. It comes out of a cow.
No, they kind of turned beef into something almost as good as pork. Somehow they figured out a way to make like something as luscious as pork because they couldn't eat pork. Yeah. Brisket's awesome.
Yeah,
Brisket's amazing.
brisket is a meat dish, and it's pretty good. It's made very tender. It's very
Yeah,
tender
it's
meat.
so yummy.
But gefilte fish again, is only good if you put a lot of horseradish on it. And matzo ball soup, I've never been a really big fan of, but matzo
Yeah.
balls are like bread but not leavened. Judaism is known for its cuisine.
No.
That's why there's not like
and I get
Jewish
it, and
restaurants throughout the country.
I'm not judging. I know that the one time I really I spent a holiday just immersed with a friend who was Jewish, and she really wanted to go all out. She had married an Irish guy, so he grew up Catholic, and she really wanted to do like, this is Hanukkah for everybody. And he invited me over, and I remember us sitting there just like, yeah, this is really good. Pass more
pepper, salt, please.
Can you pass more of the noodles with mayonnaise or whatever that was? Yeah,
been cream cheese. It was cream cheese in that, but
yeah.
But it could be that she was just not a good cook too.
That could have been true. That could have been totally true.
So, Brendan, have you ever been to Passover?
No,
Do you know about Passover?
I mean, I know what it is. Yeah.
I'm surprised we never invited you back in the day to like one of my mother's things.
I love the idea.
You
that
guys
Passover,
may have.
Yeah.
I have a slight inkling like I came over for a holiday once.
Yeah. You would have remembered Passover because it involves death and destruction and plagues and what have you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like super fucking metal, but no.
I love the idea that Passover is all about like every food course you eat is like a story. You're explaining what the Hebrews had to go through. Right. Sometimes it's not good food.
No,
like here's the bitter herbs. Now you have to eat some bitter herbs to represent when the Jews were in the desert after they got kicked out of Egypt. It's not good food, but I like that idea. And I wish other people would like take that concept. Like, let's have a holiday where we eat foods that represent what we're celebrating. I love that idea. It's not good food though.
So if we celebrated your birthday, Greg, what would be the foods that we would eat to commemorate the day of your birth?
Lots of bitter herbs, flavorless crackers,
salt water for your tears.
Salt water and matzah. Definitely a lot of salt water. There was a lot of tears because I was
growing up as a young chubby child.
I know, but to be honest, that was
an angel.
There wouldn't have been gefilte fish, that's for sure.
Yeah.
No gefilte fish.
Hey, Greg, I got a question. Did you have two parents in your house?
Brendan, believe me.
He had actually a very good childhood.
Brendan, I had a wonderful childhood, but I was damaged and I had this like depression and I hated myself for some reason. Well, there's many reasons why.
Maybe you needed maybe what you needed, Greg, was a more challenging environment to grow up in.
I know. And I would have been a success like you, like where I grew up like with a silver spoon.
Oh, I'm not a success.
You're pretty, you're doing pretty good. You're doing way better than I am. I'm a month away from being homeless every month since I was 20. I mean, I'm a loser in life, but I gotta say, I grew up.
Welcome to our holiday special, the Greg Petrick story.
Greg Tetris.
Petrick,
Greg
whatever.
Petris.
Petlicks,
I do like Tetris.
whatever.
Okay, I got it. But I love the idea of Passover, and I want to do that for other holidays. I want to make a holiday where like
Arbor Day, where we like take some
even if you have
chew on it.
Like make a Star Wars holiday where like, oh, now we're gonna eat Wookiee meat or something that's similar to Wookiee meat.
There is a Star Wars holiday.
Oh yeah, the holiday Christmas special.
No, it's May the 4th.
May the 4th.
Is that real?
Yeah, May the 4th be with you. May the 4th.
Are you serious?
It's considered Star Wars. You've never heard this before.
This is really a thing?
Yeah, it's a thing.
I celebrated at my house.
What do people do on that holiday? What are the traditions of this holiday?
They kill Wookiees. What do you think they do?
And they eat them. Like a ham.
We roast Ewoks at my house.
They turn them on a spit.
Yeah, we have an Ewok roast. We have a lot of blue milk. I don't know.
It's where they insult the Ewoks and they have sex with the milk.
Yes.
do you call local moisture farmers to get like some moisture for your holiday?
Moisture.
No, it's May in Florida, so we just all sweat a lot anyway. So
Yeah.
You got your own moisture
Yeah,
going on.
they're not like the Fremen from Dune. They
Yeah,
have water. They
we
don't
have
have
plenty
to.
of
They don't
wet.
have to farm the moisture. They don't have to save it. But what would if the people from Dune moved to Tatooine and vice versa? What do you think they would think of each other? Would they think one of them was like having life a little too easy?
Oh, I think the Dune people would be like, "You guys are a bunch of pussies. Are you serious
Yeah,
right
exactly,
now?"
because they don't have
Yeah.
steroids.
They
Our
don't
whole
have-
planet is a desert. I think
Well-
Tatooine has some areas that aren't so deserty.
Let's not get into Star Wars, but they did have the Krayt Dragon, which was a complete ripoff of the Dune sandworms.
Oh, from
Yes.
Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Ah.
And then
Yeah.
they had the other thing, the Sarlacc, which again, I don't want to get into a whole Star Wars thing. So
Yeah.
That was
But-
like the asteroid thing, right?
From Jedi.
but I agree with Greg. And if I had ever been invited over to your house, Matt, for a Passover thing where we ate different things that each thing was disgusting or good based on some part of the story, I would remember that. I didn't get that.
Yeah, the
Yeah, it's
different
cool.
things are there's like a lamb shank, which is piece of lamb. There's the bitter herbs are like parsley that you kind of dip into salt water to represent the tears that the Jews escaping.
Matt, what does the
basically
lamb
went
shank
through.
represent in
I don't remember.
Passover?
I don't remember a lot of this stuff. I
remember?
renounced Judaism in like 1985. So
Okay.
it's like I'm like I haven't really been Jewish for a long time, but I've gone to things, so many things.
You're a
just
bad Jew,
slip
basically.
that's yeah.
Matt's
But
a
you know, one
bad
thing I
Jew,
learned is
too.
like all Jews in the eyes of God are bad Jews, which is why he was always smiting them and like
He
getting
was
pissed off
fucking
at
with
them. He was constantly, he's like making worship, and they'd go, we're gonna do our other thing. Let's build a golden calf because God said not to do that type of thing. So I've learned that that's the nature of being Jewish, is just being contrary. So I've kind of embraced that as part of my demeanor. But yeah, it seems to be where it comes from.
Do you know, Matt? I knew this young kid, and he was gay, and he was this young hipster kid, and he
Now,
was
why
like,
did you just emphasize the word gay for so long?
because he said,
went
"I want to be
gay?
Jewish," because he was gay and he was not like going to follow their rules, and he was like, "I want to be Jewish," and it was like, "But you don't believe in God." He's like, I don't think that matters. I think I could be a good Jew. I want to be Jew, like convert to Judaism." It's like you have to believe in God to be a Jew. That's the one thing you gotta accept.
Do you really need to believe in God to be a Jew?
I
Matt?
think
Well-
if you're born a Jew, you don't have to. There's
Basically,
many
what
secular
happens is
Jews.
if you have a mother who's Jewish, doesn't matter what you believe, you're
Yeah.
Jewish, and you can't
so
argue about it.
he wasn't like Kramer in that episode of Seinfeld where he wanted to convert to that really, he wasn't like going to dedicate his life to like, oh, I'm going to convert. He just liked the whole idea of being a Jewish guy.
Oh, just as a
Part
sidetrack
of the
regarding you
culture.
mentioning Kramer from Seinfeld. So, our guest, we're actually having a guest in the new year, everybody. I think it's on January 5th or so. A guy named Larry Hinkin. And he was of the top two people who were supposed to be Kramer on Seinfeld. Michael Richards is the one who won, but Larry David wanted him to be Kramer, and he got outvoted by the network. But in a
Wow.
later episode, he later wound up playing Kramer as part of a pilot for inside the show Seinfeld.
I know that.
So he
guy.
actually did
I
get the
remember
pay.
that
He did
episode.
actually. So anyway, for anybody who's listening, coming up in the new year is an interview with Larry Hinkin, who was almost Kramer. As much as Greg was almost Kramer, I suppose. But
I'm not as cool as Kramer. I'm just a loser like Kramer, but I'm not like charismatic or cool.
Kramer was not charismatic or cool. I think we must have watched.
He got laid all the time. He always had some awesome woman who wanted to get on his jammy.
But I understood that
people
you
say.
weren't interested in getting laid all the time.
No, just the past 3 years. I mean, my whole life, that was my obsession. That's all I cared about.
Was getting laid?
Yeah. Or finding love or romance. I
was, one of the things that I was doing was the last week or so is, working on developing an app for a client. And I ended up getting into dating apps because the app is a relationship app.
Mhm.
And it is statistically right now easier to get a one night stand than ever in the history of people trying to figure out or count that statistic.
Oh, is this
I'm
because of
sure.
Tinder or something?
Yeah, it's because
Yeah.
of Tinder and all this
Yeah.
stuff. It's just taken the whole game of whatever we all did when we were younger, and you're just swiping this way, swiping that way, and getting fucked. And that's just the game, and that's just the way it is.
I could never do one night stands though. I'm a weirdo.
Well, we know about the weirdo part, but what makes that a weirdo thing?
Oh, it's like my last girlfriend says, it's like you fuck like a woman, or like you fall in love like a woman, where like I have to know a person before I have any like I've been in like sex clubs. I was a member of a sex club, and I'd have all
Yeah,
these
but you
kind of
said you did that for the lasagna.
I did mostly, but I also
I'm mostly curious to know how a male fucks like a woman.
Well, because like the emotional thing, where like like
so
maybe the stereotype. Maybe it's a stereotype, but men can just be like, "Oh yeah, I just want to get my dick wet. I'm gonna fuck this woman." And if I don't know a woman, I'm not even really turned on. Like when I was at the sex club, I did a lot of hijinks. On top,
ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the law offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bickers holiday show. Carry on.
Okay, we can change the subject, but I was just gonna say that
he only went there on the holidays.
It was never exciting. It was just boring. It was kind of boring. It was just like I don't even know this woman, and
have a holly jolly Christmas. Let me get my dick so wet.
Actually, I want to do changing. So, if you guys tell me if you can name all the different holidays in December off the top of your head that you can think of. We'll see if you're
Christmas,
yes.
Hanukkah, Kwanzaa.
Yes. We did Festivus already.
Okay, Festivus.
Yeah.
That's as far as I go, man.
Okay, well, we got Pearl Harbor Day. Many people forget about Pearl Harbor Day.
Oh,
it's basically like a day. It was December 7th.
December 7th, yeah.
And it turns out there's a day which kind of ties into like the Christmas stuff, is Poinsettia Day. That's on the 12th. Because a lot of people buy poinsettias for the holiday.
That's a floral conspiracy. That's not a real holiday.
Yeah, I think most of these are not national holidays. They're just like days that some people celebrate.
But Poinsettia Day, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then on the 21st, which is 2 days ago, is winter solstice, which is the shortest day of the year.
All of my heads up to all my Wiccan friends.
Wicca. And finally,
Wicca for life.
Finally, there's National Fruitcake Day on December 27th, which is the one I think that Greg celebrates the most. Right, Greg? Greg, are you there?
That is the worst holiday I've ever heard of, because nobody likes fruitcake. Nobody's ever liked fruitcake.
Somebody must like the thing, because
I don't know.
I think it's British people who like it because they like weird fruits in their cakes.
Well, they like fucking blood pudding, the English. I mean,
hey, blood pudding is good. Blood sausage. Oh, blood sausage is fantastic. I don't know about pudding. But
I just think fruitcake, or I'm sorry, that shit is just like, it's always been around. I don't know anyone who likes it.
It makes sense that Fruitcake Day is the day before Boxing Day, because I think that's when you can put it back in the box and send it.
What is Boxing Day, Matt?
I forgot about Boxing Day.
What is Boxing Day?
Boxing Day is actually celebrated, I think, in the UK more so, in more British countries.
For some reason.
Well, it's probably in Australia too. It's probably Canada as well. But Boxing Day is essentially when you're, I think, getting rid of the boxes of the stuff that you got from Christmas.
No.
Are you serious?
No. I'm not really sure what it is.
What it is?
It's when you punch each other in the face because you
don't
like your
gifts. Wrong.
It's celebrated it's celebrated in South Africa as well. And I worked for 10 years with a South African woman who grew up there, obviously. And Boxing Day is when you put together the gifts for the servants. You put the extra stuff it's like almost regifting. You put the extra stuff, this is my understanding, you put the extra stuff you didn't want into boxes and you gave it to the servant.
What a shitty holiday. That is like, that shouldn't even be a holiday.
It looks like that's basically it from what I'm reading.
That's so bad.
But it's also St. Stephen's Day. and churches would open their collection boxes to the poor. That's where they get some of its roots. But it says the roots of it go back to the Middle Ages. Members of the merchant class would take boxes, fill them with food and fruits, and probably fruit cakes, and give them to servants, tradespeople, and the less fortunate. In the case of servants, they would work on Christmas Day, so it was only fitting that immediately after Christmas, they would be given a day off to celebrate all the boxes that they were given from the people they worked for. So that's probably what they did with the fruitcake is they took the stuff that were in the boxes and they made a cake out of it. Or it could be a box itself. You can hollow it out and you can put stuff in it.
Or just the full-on fruitcakes they got. They were just like, we don't want to eat this shit. Let's give it to our servants.
Yeah.
Greg, what are you doing in there? You're making a lot of weird noises.
I'm sorry. I thought I wasn't. I was trying to be good.
You weren't making weird noises?
Well, I just put on my water for a second. I just had to wash my hands.
I couldn't tell what it was. It was just a strange sound.
Sorry, I forgot to mute.
I honestly thought he was squirting, and I wasn't going to say anything.
I thought he'd done that already. That was why.
I actually did squirt, and I did mute.
There are some interesting holidays coming up in January, though, besides New Year's Day. Apparently, January 1st is also known as National Hangover Day.
Yeah, it makes sense.
That's actually every day for Greg.
I was going to say I might be
over.
It's also National Bloody Mary Day at the same time, New Year's Day, which
it should be National Menudo Day.
Oh, I'm doing Bloody Marys.
New Year's Day should be a holiday. I mean, obviously,
New Year's Day is a holiday. New Year's Day is a holiday, Greg.
But you said it was National Hangover Day.
I said it's also National Hangover Day.
Oh, so they didn't have to do that then.
What?
They didn't have to make another holiday a holiday. If it's
I think they did it because it's generally after New Year's Eve. Lots of people have hangovers.
Yeah. But see, Matt, like I'm a service worker, so I've never had New Year's Day off. I go to work on New Year's Day.
Yeah.
So no matter how hungover I am, I got to go to work.
Your business shouldn't be open on New Year's Day, Greg. That's all.
No, but
you'll appreciate what January 2nd is. January 2nd is National Science Fiction Day. Con! That's how we tie in.
Con! That is
Chrismakwanzakhaaannn. January. Well, again, these are not official holidays, but people are celebrating them. And this is apparently National Science Fiction Days on January 2nd. Let me see if I can get more information about it. Yeah, it's a non-official holiday which celebrates everything science fiction. On this day, people celebrate all forms of sci-fi, including literature, art, television shows, films. It's also a good day to recognize some of the writers that have contributed their talents to the genre of science fiction. That include like Isaac Asimov, Ray Bradbury, Rod Serling, Arthur C. Clarke, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, whoever you know. But no one's come forward as the creator of that holiday. But it was chosen for that day because it's the birthday of Isaac Asimov, who, as you probably know, is one of the most famous science fiction writers of all time. And it can be enjoyed a number of different ways. You can enjoy TV shows and movies and books in the genre. There's also sci-fi parties that are held all over the world where people can enjoy everything science fiction together.
You can cosplay.
Yeah.
I dress as a Klingon and go to a sex club. That's what I do.
I think that would be the most appropriate way to celebrate that particular holiday.
I've done that, actually.
Have you? You dressed as a Klingon and went to a sex club?
And it was like, I don't know if you know about this, in the Star Trek universe, Klingons fuck like animals. Like they're beaten up after a sex bout. Like they got scratches. They like fuck like Wolverines, basically.
You should also appreciate that it's National Buffet Day, the same day as.
Oh, that's my day. I wanted to celebrate. I've celebrated that my whole life, every day.
National Buffet Day.
God, buffets are my favorite thing, and that's the saddest thing about COVID. Of all the things that have happened, all the thousands of people who've died, the worst thing that's happened because of this is that there's no more buffets anymore.
You mean the hundreds of thousands of people that have died?
Yeah, but I don't know them. So in my life,
hundreds who have died.
What's affected me the most is there's no buffets anymore, and that's how. See, Brendan, you might have thought I was like an okay guy who kind of has ethics. No, that's all I care about. I'm like Donald Trump. What affects me about this pandemic? No more buffets.
No live karaoke.
I've never been a fan. Tragedy. I've never been a fan of buffets. There's There's
Could you
like
not eat that much?
He's
Or
not a big
an
fat pig
Asian.
like you and I.
Yeah, no, it's just there's an Asian buffet, and the food's not bad, but it's not really that great.
yeah, the
And
quality
so
is
it's
never
just
that good.
like it's like a lot of mediocre sex.
Exactly.
Yes, it's okay, but I'd rather just have, you know,
A
one big
fresh
O
meal
and
cooked for you.
That's
yeah.
because you prefer
Yeah.
quality and we prefer gorging.
Yeah.
I suppose that's true.
That's right.
You're gourmet and we're gourmands.
No, not that either.
Gourmand.
Not a gourmand either, Greg.
Well, that's a word for someone like me
It's
who
not
just wants to eat a lot.
No, that's not the definition of gourmand.
It is.
What is the definition of gourmand? I don't actually know. He had
It's
me
the
fooled.
opposite of a gourmet. A gourmet cares about the quality of the food. A gourmand just wants to eat a lot.
I mean, makes sense, but Matt seems to.
Well, I mean, it's a connoisseur of good food. So a person who enjoys eating, but often eats too much. So it's a combination. But it's somebody who enjoys good food. It's not quite a glutton, which I think is more appropriate.
I'm a glutton.
More of a
Okay.
glutton than a
So-
gourmand. Because you'll eat bad food, Greg. You'll enjoy bad food.
No, I eat some. I love sushi. I go to an all-you-can-eat sushi buffet before COVID.
Yeah.
It was fucking pretty good sushi. Matt's been there actually. You've been there. Sorry, I'm saying it like it's a singular thing. Like only I did. We went there.
You were the only person who would go, and you're the only one who paid their bills.
Well,
You went, and the sushi was pretty good.
an all-you-can-eat sushi place in the Northwest is probably pretty good. An all-you-can-eat sushi place in Tampa, Florida.
Oh, well. Okay.
I used to go to one in Tucson, Arizona. By the way, where,
There's a
like,
buffet
you're
near
in
me
the
that would
desert.
serve all you can eat frog legs.
That's fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they had a lot of other. It's a Chinese place. They had a lot of other foods, but that's the first buffet I've ever been to that had frog legs.
Did you partake of the frog legs?
Oh, I've had frog before, so that wasn't a big deal. But it had been years since I had them. But it's just greasy chicken.
It's just really greasy, small amount of meat.
Yeah.
It's more like a dare food.
I remember as a kid, we went hunting for frogs specifically for eating purposes. We did like a frog hunt. I remember we found the skeletons of frogs in our car like months later that apparently had gotten free from whatever we had them in. So
You just left the skeletons in your car. You just slurped them up.
no, we didn't eat the skeletons, Greg. They just happened to be found.
Oh,
Yeah. There wasn't
When
like
I
we
was-
went, I love
well, that's
bones.
wasteful.
I
That's
love
just wasteful.
frog bones.
When I was growing up in Bremerton, which the town, Matt.
I do. I live there too.
Yeah, we used to go down by where the ferry would dock, and it's all completely different. I don't know when the last time you were there was, but
I was actually there during my vacation. I went through Bremerton.
Okay, so it's obviously that whole area is completely different.
Yeah.
But back then it was just these old school wooden docks that were like floating on tires and whatever. But we would go down there and we would squid jig. You ever jig for squid?
I don't even know what that means. You dance for
Yeah.
them? You dance for the squids?
Kind of. You have
Jig
this.
squid.
You have this thing. It's kind of like a lure, and it's kind of like pickle shaped. And then at the bottom is a ring of hooks, kind of facing upward.
Uh-huh.
And you take it and you shine a flashlight into the water, which attracts the squid, and then you put this thing down into the swarming squid, and they'll just grab it, and you pull them out, and they won't let go, and you put them in a bucket.
Wow.
It's like the world.
I wish I had known about it. I would have loved to have tried it.
No, it was the world's
I just want to say
easiest
jig squid more.
jig squid. That'll
Jig
be my
squid.
new. That'll be my new.
You're not Skunk Man anymore. You're Jig Squid.
No,
Yeah,
not
you should
squid.
be. That's a great nickname.
But it was fun. So we would catch a bunch of these squids. Your frog story reminded me of this, and then we would take them home, and then we'd chop them up and make calamari.
Nice. Now, the only thing I've done
Wow.
that's similar to that is crabbing, which I did like somewhere in North Carolina or something, Cape Hatteras, whatever state that's in.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
I don't know if you've ever been crabbing. It's kind of fun when you're young because all you're doing is stand at the edge of a pier with like some fish at the end of a hook, and you just lower it down into the water, and the crabs grab them, and you have to slowly bring them up or they'll drop off. and you got to yell for somebody to bring a net so they can bring the net underneath before
They
they
catch
drop
it.
off. Because as soon as they start coming out of the water, they'll let go.
Right.
Crabs are, tricky that way. But
Mhm.
I don't know if there's a national crabbing day. But I did find that there is a national fruitcake toss day. So the fruitcake that you got in December,
That
you
you
can
don't want
get
to
rid
eat.
of on January 3rd. You can toss that fruitcake somewhere else.
Is it tossing like an egg toss? Like
Into the
there's a
sea?
I think it's
competition?
probably put in a salad.
You see how far
Tossed
you
in a
could chuck
salad.
the thing into your neighbor's yard?
I don't know. It's probably like that. It's kind of, I think I remember there's like some holiday where it's like National Cow Patty Throw Day or something like that. It's probably
Yeah.
like how far you can throw the fruitcake. There's no
None
link
of these
to it here.
holidays are real. We have to like have a
Well, it's
disclaimer.
national, Greg, so it's got to be real
It's national,
somewhere.
but it's not a real holiday.
Well, it's not
just made up.
official. Well, where do holidays come from, Greg? Who determines that?
Well, official holidays are like voted by Congress.
Right,
Like
official
Veterans
holidays, but
Day.
there are holidays that are not official holidays. For example, there's an official holiday in Maryland that is not official anywhere else. It's Defenders Day, which I brought up in the past. But Defenders Day is on September 12th and only in Maryland. It's celebrated mainly in Baltimore and Baltimore County.
Is this about the Netflix series? Or
Is there no? No, this has
Does it
been
have to? Does
this
it
has
have
been
to
a
do with the
holiday
old?
since 1931. I think no, not since 1931. I can't remember how long it's been, but it commemorates the defense of Baltimore during the 1812 war, when it actually happened in 1814 when the British force
Yeah.
had come in, and it commemorates actually the writing of the Star Spangled Banner, which apparently was about
Oh yeah,
that battle. So Defenders Day
Yeah.
has to do with the people who did that defense.
Fort Sumter.
Yeah, or McHenry, I think.
I think it
Oh,
would have
that's
been.
the Civil War. Never
It
mind.
was
Sorry.
McHenry.
I think it would have
McHenry.
been way more cool if it was about that '80s arcade game.
The Defender Day. That might have its own day, actually.
And then
Space
Stargate
Invaders
Day.
Day, but you just put all under National Science Fiction Day, I think, in that case.
I loved that video game.
No, Stargate was even better though. Remember they had the second one, which was called Stargate. It was basically Defender, but like ramped up a few notches.
I'm just trying to figure out what National Booch Day is, because that just showed up for January
Booch?
13th. I don't even know what a booch. Oh, for crying out loud! It's kombucha.
Oh, come on.
That's what I'm talking
Booch
about.
Day.
These holidays are all nonsense. These are not real holidays.
Well, no, people are celebrating these things. People who are
Sure,
fans
like
of it,
40
and
people.
that's how these things get started. Getting it made official for a national holiday is completely different.
It might happen in 100 years. Booch Day will be
It might
you'll
be.
have the day off, paid holiday.
I mean, there's
Sure.
so many. There's National Popcorn Day and Penguin Awareness Day, National Hug Day, and National Hugging Day happen the same day, as so does National Granola Bar Day, and of course, Squirrel
Granola
Appreciation
bar.
Day happens that same day. I guess if you're feeding a squirrel a granola bar, it all fits in.
Yeah. So basically,
Wait,
Brendan,
whoa,
Brendan, you
kinda-
need to know about January 25th though, because that's National Florida Day.
that's National
I'm just saying,
Florida Day. That doesn't even make sense. Like the rest of the country is celebrating Florida existing.
You're damn right you should.
Yeah.
You know how much? Do you know how much fucking entertainment my stupid state has provided the rest of the country for
This
the
is
last
true.
like,
You're
10
right.
years?
I guess
Florida
it's
man,
true.
Florida
Oh,
man,
man.
hanging Chad and Florida man.
We are the kings of stupid down here.
I think that's a good name for a band. The
Kings of Stupid? Yeah.
Yes,
The
that
Kings
should
of
actually
Stupid.
possibly the name of our podcast should change to that. But yeah,
I like it.
I think the
It's a
law
good one.
offices are work better for us because we make pronouncements a lot and we sound official when we say
Yeah.
things.
We sound very
We're
authoritative.
old white men, so
Right. Hey, Greg, did you know there's such a thing as National Groundhog Day?
That's a real holiday.
Well, yeah, but why? Why, Greg? Why would that be a holiday? It's named after a
Because
groundhog,
it's a
for crying
story
out loud.
tradition, and I think is that a national
But
holiday?
why
like,
should
by
it matter?
Congress?
Why should it matter, Greg?
It's
just as relevant as National Carrot Cake Day.
it's a national holiday, but it's not a federal holiday. That's
It's not.
a big
Nobody
distinction.
gets a day off, right?
one gets
Well, my
Groundhog's
wife
Day
does
off.
because it's her birthday.
Oh well.
Okay.
Well, that's your wife's birthday day.
That's right,
Yeah.
day.
That's
But-
more important to me than a groundhog seeing a shadow.
And
Your wife
Trump,
having a-
Trump will be celebrating this one on February 6th, National Lame Duck Day.
That's a real thing.
Apparently, for somebody
For
somewhere,
just a lame duck.
National
2
Lame
people
Duck
get to
Day.
celebrate that. Who's ever the lame duck?
It recognizes the ratification of the 20th Amendment to the Constitution.
But
But
what about
that's even
but
after
what
the
about
lame duck
really
has
lame
left
ducks?
office.
No,
It
no, no.
doesn't
I
make
think we're missing
sense.
the point, Greg. I think we're missing the point.
Oh,
what
it's
about
maybe for actually lame ducks.
like
Handicapped
lame
ducks.
ducks that have been hurt? You know, maybe
Getting
a
hit by a
duck that got hit by a car.
Yeah.
Down here in Florida, ducks get attacked by alligators pretty commonly. You know,
The ducks probably
I
attack
get
back
it.
but lose.
no, they
Hey
rape
guys,
them with their
what are you
corkscrew
planning to do
penises.
for National
So
Lame
wait
Duck
a second,
Day?
alligators rape ducks?
No,
So
the
there's just
ducks
like
rape the ducks
ducks-
rape the alligators.
I'd like to see that.
I did not
Ducks-
expect this episode to go into the headline of duck raping.
Ducks are very rapey creatures. We have a park
Birds
that
are. Birds are.
we go no, but ducks especially. We go to this
Really?
park, Crest Lake Park, which is like a man-made lake.
See,
It's a
half
nice little
duck, half gator crawling around.
It's a nice little park. Yeah, there's gators in the thing,
Gator
in the
ducks.
water, and then there's ducks. There's tons of ducks, and I've had to explain to my daughter a couple of times, like they get real rapey. The boys are very rapey,
Birds do that.
and they have giant, like the size of a duck's penis is like the largest penis in relation to the size of the animal in the animal kingdom.
Really?
Oh my lord.
Yeah.
Is it like the size of the duck?
It's bigger than the duck.
Is it? So it's like retractable, like an
It's
antenna.
retractable. Yeah, it's retractable and it's corkscrewed.
So is that what we're celebrating on Lame Duck Day? Like,
I think
just
we're
celebrating, how
celebrating you getting a
huge
duck
their
penis
penises
transplant,
are.
Greg.
we're celebrating how huge their penises are compared to their body mass.
Well, apparently
my-
on National Lame Duck Day, the way you're supposed to celebrate or observe it is if you are a lame duck, you have to reflect back on what you've learned and on your successes and triumphs. If you know a lame duck, you say thank you, give recognition for their success and support for the future. If you're none of the above, you enjoy it, everything you do, and share the information you learned about National Lame Duck Day to other people. But it just
So-
commemorates the date in 1933 that the U.S. Secretary of State proclaimed the 20th Amendment ratified, and it's basically for somebody who like lost a re-election bid.
So there's no ducks involved with corkscrew penises.
Apparently,
It's
it
really-
came about because of stockbrokers in the 1700s who couldn't pay off their dets. I don't know why a duck
What?
got involved in that.
What the fuck does that have to do with a duck?
I don't know. It later carried over to those in business who, while known to be bankrupt, could continue to do business. So that actually
Oh.
applies to Trump also.
Yeah.
He was a lame duck in more than one way.
But why is the duck getting a bad rap in this? These are obviously degenerate people who failed. Ducks are a proud big
Damn
penis.
degenerates.
Well, they're
bird.
proud rapists. I mean, maybe they
Yes.
should be disparaged more.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't like
I
ducks
don't know
now.
what the etymology is why a duck got involved with it, but let me see if I can find the origins of it. to see.
Lame duck.
Yeah, so it was coined in the 18th century. The London Stock Exchange referred to a stockbroker who defaulted on his debts. The first known mention of the term, okay, this kind of makes more sense, is do you know what a bull and a bear and lame duck are? So it's like when you have
Mhm.
bulls and bears in the stock market. So
Yeah.
so they made lame duck as another animal reference for somebody associated with it. So in the literal sense,
So you're a
the term refers to a duck which is unable to keep up with its flock, making it a target for predators. So that's kind of an interesting comment on that, how that
So they're not a
translated.
bull or a bear, because even bears are like just being cautious, but they're
Yeah.
still solid.
But you're a lame duck because you're then can be a victim to either the bull
Yeah.
or the bear because you're like walking behind and you're an easy target for the predators who want to take your money.
but I mean, I could see a bear going after a lame duck, but why would a bull go after a lame duck?
Target practice. Just
Because he's angry.
wants to stomp on something.
Yeah, bulls are angry
All right.
creatures.
But yeah, I'm just saying
Maybe
that
he-
somebody you blame it on the British. It's their fault for coming up with it.
Maybe he's the bear. The bull is upset about the rapey duck.
Yeah,
That could
he's
be
a
the
social
case.
justice warrior.
Yeah, it could be
Bull.
that
The
the duck
social
was going
justice
after the
bull.
bear and the bull, and they
Yeah.
didn't appreciate it anymore. It's like the duck was trying to like mount the bull.
Well, if I was to choose between the two, the duck, I would probably mount the bull over the bear. I don't know why.
If you're a
I
duck,
feel like their asses. I feel like their ass is a little more presented well than the bears.
depending upon which way the bear is going.
Well,
Or the
also the
bull.
bear wouldn't like murder you and maul you as much as the bull would. You might get away with
I think
fucking a bull, but
No,
you
Yeah, that's what
fuck
I'm
a
saying. I
bear.
think-
You're
I'm curious though, if we get to President's Day, can we do like a President's Day except Trump Day? Like he doesn't really count as a president because he
dead. Is
was
that a
just
national
this
holiday, Matt?
President's Day? Yeah, it's where they
Yeah.
combined all the president's birthdays into one day.
So that is like a nationally recognized holiday where people get off, paid holiday.
Yeah, that's a federal holiday.
I was going to say,
It's
I
a
don't know if they
bank
get
holiday.
off, but they get the day off. I don't know what else they're doing on that day.
Well, they
Well,
could,
I mean,
I'm sure they're getting off. Some of them.
Greg gets off on president porn, like
And
we've discussed
Pelosi,
in
for
previous
that matter.
I'm
episodes.
Nancy Pelosi and Kamala Harris. Yeah, I get off on a lot of things that most people don't.
Speaking of which, anybody else is listening, we were actually interviewed before we did this episode by another podcast
Strangely enough,
called The Life Show, which is out of Ohio. And so if you want to hear us without us having a topic to talk about or a client, we were their client is what it was on that particular show. And it'll be airing like next Tuesday. And I had it pulled up on my screen before, but then I apparently got involved in other things.
so to the four people who
lost
listen
it.
to us, imagine us with
Next-
less cohesiveness, with not even a tether of logic, just spouting out.
So yeah, it's the
listen to that.
Life Show and 1069. I think it's both a radio show out of Wright State University in Ohio. And anybody who's interested in hearing us talk outside of this particular format, which is we sounded exactly like this format on their show, except we had no focus. Unlike
It's
right
even
now,
worse than normal.
we had
It
a
was
slight
even
focus.
worse than our show.
Right. Anyway, so that plug is in place. And also as a reminder, New Year comes. All the shows are going to be on YouTube. All the old shows that you have loved and enjoyed or hated and wanted to burn, they'll be available for you on YouTube, and you can watch them there. And I think we're at a good kind of wrapping up stage. You guys have any? Here's a good holiday to wrap up with: National Do a Grouch a Favor Day.
What? That is not a real
Like that.
thing, Matt. That is like 3 guys on Facebook made that up. That doesn't count. I can make up any holiday I want on Twitter. I can be like, oh, it's National.
Well, why don't
Read a
you,
comic
Greg?
book.
If you get some people to agree with you, you've got yourself a holiday.
Well,
I like that
okay.
holiday.
Yeah, do a Grouch a Favor Day, Greg.
It might win over a grouch. Maybe that's not a bad idea.
I think you're missing the concept of holidays, Greg. That they don't have to be official. They all start somewhere.
They do, but some of these holidays are just ridiculous.
Well, what makes a holiday more important to you than another? Why does any get more?
Well, like, whatever, Armistice Day or Veterans Day, those are pretty valid. Like, hey, let's respect.
I think it really boils. I think it
veterans
really
who
boils.
died for American.
Yeah, I think it
wars.
really boils down to religion and death.
I was about to say
True
death
that.
as well.
That's true. Yeah,
Death, murder, or wearing armor of some kind.
but they're kind of
Yeah.
important things. They're not like science
Yeah,
fiction day. They're
Let's
not like
celebrate death and murder.
Wait a
Let's
second,
be
Greg. Are you
that-
saying that Hootie Hoo Day is not a legitimate holiday?
what are you
Oh,
talking
I
about?
love
Please
Hootie Hoo Day.
explain. What are you talking about?
Well, Hootie Hoo Day.
Day.
Yes, Hootie
Is
Hoo
this for
Day
owls?
is a
Is this for
day.
owls?
No, it's or Hootie Hoo. Hootie Hoo Day is a day that is celebrated on February 20th. It's designed to help people overcome the wintertime blues and to prepare them for the coming of spring. It might seem like a joke holiday, but it is an actual holiday that was created and copyrighted by a guy named Thomas Roy. And he has created actually over 80 different holidays, many of them quite unusual, such as Bathtub Party Day and Answer Your Cat's Questions Day.
So you're talking
If
about an insane person, some fucking person who belongs in a mental institution made up 80 holidays. Great, good for him.
you know
But
what,
I
Greg?
guess if you create and copyright them, that makes them actual holidays.
There
No,
are
it
actually
really
holidays,
Does it?
and the
If
merch,
nobody wants to
merch
celebrate them?
opportunity is huge. If you think about
I
it.
think answering your cat's questions today might be my favorite one of all the ones that we mentioned.
If I had a cat, I'd be so into it.
If we could get him to
And do
give us
cats have any questions in the history of cats, which I think is 70,000 years? Has a cat ever had a question?
I don't know.
I honestly
Where's my food?
I honestly think cats don't give a fuck.
They don't
Dogs
give
have
two fucks,
questions.
and they have no questions.
I have a dog. My dog has questions. I can see it in his eyes every day.
You think he does, but they do have more questions. They look at you like, "Hey, how come you're not doing this?" Cats don't give a shit.
That's
You
what I'm
can't-
saying. Cats don't give a shit. They don't have questions.
I know,
Dogs have
but
questions. There
dogs
should be
really
dog
don't.
question day.
I forgot
I
to
think dogs
mention.
have
Okay, so
questions
we're going to
either.
wrap up on this final bit here. So I forgot to mention that we got another email to the podcast.
Shut up. No.
And strangely enough, and this is very hard to believe, it's another email from Greg's sister, Maria.
Okay, now I'm not surprised. Okay, I get it.
So let me read it for you, because we mentioned this on the show, which is anybody who emails us, sends us a message, we will read it on the air. So this is what she said. She goes, "Thank you,
imaginary
Matt
person?
and Brendan, for appreciating my email." So she's sending us an email for us responding about her last email. She goes, "Gregory, we will discuss it later." That was 2 exclamation points.
We did.
She goes, "Quite an exciting client last week. It seemed to get you more elevated than usual. Although it was entertaining, at times I did get a little uneasy, but remember that you're many miles away from each other. Hope you all have a wonderful holiday. More than just Greg's sister, Greg."
Maria did call me the next day or texted me before I got to her call.
And we
And
would have
she
read
was
this last week, but I got the email after we had already done the show.
But she was very angry with me. She was like, and I was like, Matrez, you're my sister. Come on. I think I deserve to say, by the way, the one email we got was from my sister.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to discount the fact that she likes the show. I was just saying,
Which we're still trying to figure out why.
It is my sister. So,
yes.
She likes the show because she's your sister, Greg.
No.
And that's the appreciation.
No, that bothered her. Don't say
Yes.
that. She's going to send you an angry text.
Oh, I hope.
No.
Did you
did
get her present yet, Greg, Brendan?
My other sister doesn't like the show.
Okay,
you haven't
so
done either?
mine just arrived today.
You got it.
Wow.
Yeah. So what it is a mug that
Now
says,
you tell him.
you listen,
You gotta
Greg,
keep it
you can
surprised.
keep your silliness to yourself, and I'm
It's
still going
not
to say
silliness.
it's not. It doesn't have to be a surprise. It's okay to talk
You
about
hate
it. Greg.
surprises.
I made no goddamn agreement about not saying what it is. So
Yeah, Matt is like the sober drunk. Matt does
anyway,
not like
so it's a
surprises.
mug that she actually had imprinted on it the law offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker. It was
with
a
like
very
Lady
nice
Justice.
It was a very nice gesture. Yeah, and it has like the Lady Justice with the scales on it, you know. But it was a very nice thing. It was very thoughtful, and I appreciated it very much.
Matt, do you understand why there's a giant hand at her feet, though? What is that about?
I didn't dissect it. I just appreciated getting it, and I was okay.
Oh, I did too.
Going to stare at the mug. Should I grab the mug? You guys talk. I'll grab the mug. Give me a second.
Yeah. I'd like to see it. I mean, your sister lives in Portland, right, Greg?
No, she lives in New York.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's weird. Okay, so it got to him maybe it's come to me today. I don't know.
I'm
All
not.
right, so this is the mug. It's backwards. I don't know how to change.
No, you did it, Matt. No, that's right.
Oh, it works. I
see
can
it?
read it.
Oh, it shows backwards to me. So
No, it shows right ways to me.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
So it's the law offices Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker, and there is a hand
This is
right
giant-
above the book. I don't understand
She's
the
cut off
point of it.
hand.
She is stomping on the hand of stupidity.
It's the hand of justice, I think, is what that is.
And there's a hammer on the
Well,
right
that's
side.
it's a mallet, which goes with justice, and it's on
yeah,
law
that's
books.
true.
I'm assuming.
But what's the chopped off hand?
I don't understand that. Maybe
Is it like
that's
an
to
Islamic
hold the
justice
head
thing?
that gets cut off with that sword.
Yeah, like a thief who
I
commits
don't
a
know.
crime has his hands chopped off
I
in
don't
like
know, but
Iran.
it's nice that we finally got a little piece of swag from doing this show.
I
Yeah.
love it.
So
I will be drinking all of my drinks through my law office cup on all future episodes.
Yeah.
and so with that being the case, this has been our holiday show, and we just have to say thanks, Maria.
Thanks, Maria.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Double
Maria.
thanks, Maria, tonight.